And now I want to say just a word about the top culprit in the process. That would be the president. The president is the biggest dastard in the country. President Donald Trump. Dastard number one. This says countdown to impeachment. This is the President of the United States of America, seated here. I'm proud to tell you that I stood right over there and I told the President to his face, you don't have a mandate to cut Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. This was at a joint session of Congress. And this dastard said that they weren't going to do it. And lo and behold, the dastard did it. They cut about $1 trillion out of health care. This is the dastard that perpetrated the deed. He ought to be recognized in history as the person who did the greatest injustice to health care the country's ever seen, Donald John Trump. But he's gone beyond this. His behavior is something that is difficult to codify, difficult to explain. But I will tell you this, he went too far just recently. He's gone too far on many other occasions, but recently he went too far again. This time, this dastard, Donald John Trump, sent out a meme wherein he had the gall, unmitigated as we say, where he had the low-down, dirty instinct to send out, to post a picture of the Honorable President Barack Obama and the First Lady Michelle Obama, to picture them as members of the primate family. That's what this dastard did to two of our heroes of black history. If he had his way, there would be no black history. He's the person who has decided that black history is going to be minimized because we talk too much about slavery. He wants slavery to be whitewashed. There are people in Texas who call it involuntary relocation. Murder, rape, 240 years of working without a paycheck, involuntary relocation. Well, this dastard supports these kinds of things. This dastard. That's why we have this across the top of this poster. 3 words, countdown to impeachment. Countdown to impeachment. Yes, Mr. President, I don't speak for anybody but myself. I don't speak for any party. I don't speak for anyone, well, except myself and everybody who agrees with me. That's who I speak for. And Mr. President, not only are you a subject of impeachment, but now Ms. Noem is a subject of impeachment. Yes, Ms. Noem, I've signed articles of impeachment against you. And my hope is that if you don't do what you should do, in my opinion, which is resign, and I don't think the president would ever fire you, but you have blood on your hands. And you have tried your best to cover up what happened when 2 American citizens who were unarmed lost their lives at the hands of the constabulary. You've got blood on your hands. You should be impeached. But you also should go to jail because you tried to cover it up. There is a law that deals with this kind of behavior when you know that a felony has been committed. You know that a felony has been committed, and you don't report that felony, and then you try to cover it up. That's a crime. Somebody ought to check out 18 U.S.C. Section 4. Yes, you've committed a crime. You ought to be locked up. People on the other side are notorious for having said, lock her up, talking about a Democrat. Well, here's your chance to repeat your chant. Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock up Ms. Noem for what she has done. Impeach Ms. Noem is what we should do. But aside from impeaching her, she gets her marching orders from this dastard. He has to be impeached too. We cannot allow this to go unnoticed, unchallenged. I cannot, I say we, and all of the people who agree with me. Now, there are a good many who do not. I don't want to discredit them in any way. But I cannot. So yes, we're in a countdown to another impeachment. I'm going to call this the Black History Month impeachment, because I'm going to deal with the racism that this president perpetuates, the racism that he perpetrates, the racism that he places in policies that are harmful to the American public. I'm going to deal with that. And then we'll give people a chance to decide, was it as bad as you say it was? You've been on television talking about how this horrible deed was perpetrated by this dastard. Well, let's see if you really believe what you've said. Andrew Johnson was impeached in 1868 for speaking ill of Congress. So don't say you can't impeach for this kind of dastardly behavior from this dastard. Don't say that you can't do it, because we've seen it done. We've seen it done by people who were closer to the drafting of the Constitution than we were. So they probably had a better sense of what impeachment was all about than these so-called scholars who have decided that impeachment has to have so many lofty goals achieved before you should bring articles. Not true. Whatever the House says impeachment is, that's what it is. It's not appealable. It's a political question. It's not something that requires a violation of a statutory law. So if you believe what you have been propagating when you say that this was such a bad thing that the president did with these memes, then we'll give you an opportunity to express that here on the floor of the Congress of the United States of America. I just believe we have an obligation to do this. I don't think that we should stand by, we meaning the people who agree with me. People who don't agree, they'll do what they do. That's okay with me. I'm going to vote my conscience. I ask others to vote theirs. Just vote your conscience. That's all I ask. And if we vote our conscience, I would hope that in the end, maybe not today, but someday. Stevie Wonder has a song where he says, someday at Christmas time. Well, baby, someday in the near future, in my lifetime, this dastard will be impeached. But I guarantee you this, the record will show that at least one member stood right here in this House and read articles of impeachment to remove this dastard from office for the racism that he perpetrates and perpetuates, and for edification purposes. Those who tolerate racism perpetuate racism. Tolerate it and you perpetuate it. I will not tolerate it. And of course, there are those who will always say, Al, you stand alone. My dear friends, on some issues, it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. I yield back the balance of my time.
Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities towards the president.